And you know what time it is now?
Hey, Ari, how are you? What, we still got beef?
Nah, no beef, Josh.
Hit him up! Pull him out!
We want to know what's bothering you in the world of sports. Give Murph a call at 312-644-6767. That's 312-644-6767. And tell him what's beefing you in the world of sports. What's Your Beef is brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering and BrownsChicken.com.
Oh, man, lunchtime, 26 minutes after 12. Getting a little hungry? I know I am. If you're out and about, pull up to one of those convenient Browns locations throughout greater Chicagoland and say, hey, I want to have an Italian beef for lunch. And then, you know, maybe I want an Italian sausage for lunch. And then you say, what the heck? Put them together, call it a combo. And they are made the Chicago way that you expect and that you grew up with. Let's get to the phone lines. Got a couple lines open for the first time. 312-644-6767. And Brookfield Guy gets us rolling. Hello, Guy.
Hey, Murph. Happy Inauguration Day.
Oh, well, same to everybody. And what's your beef today?
Well, before I say my beef, I want to say, now that we got a Sox fan in the White House, I can't wait for the Cubs to win the World Series and give Obama his Cub hat and his Cub jersey. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I know one thing. Hillary Clinton switched to a Yankee cap when it helped her one time, but I don't think the president, we don't have to say elect any longer.
Right.
I think the president's going to flip-flop on that one.
Okay, here's my beef, Murph.
Yeah, what's your beef?
You know, I've been working on this. You know, I've been thinking of calling, and then I wasn't going to, but today finally broke the camel's back.
All right.
Last week, Chris DeLuca with his pom-pom comment.
Oh, that's okay.
Yesterday, Greg Couch ripping on the Cub fans at the convention.
Uh-huh.
And now, today, Slezak criticizing us for getting rid of PA. Murph.
Yeah.
The Sox bias with those writers. I can forgive Joe Cowley. He's the Sox writer. But I'm sick of the Sun-Times, Slezak, Couch, DeLuca, Sox fans. You know, stop being jealous.
Good beef. Guy, you've done something that's very creative. You've tooled up 3 people, but you haven't made it Tool of the Week. You turned it into a What's Your Beef? And for being so creative, hang on. You're going to go visit my friends at Brown's. You know, it tastes better. Hang on, Guy. All right, buddy. Nicely done. 312-644-6767. But you know what? Sometimes negativity sells, and it's very possible that the editors of the newspapers said, hey, we got to get the circulation up. We have to start ripping everything, and or maybe the columnists are allowed to pick their own topics. I have no idea. Here at The Score, we always are allowed to pick our own topics. Maybe sometimes you don't like the topics on the Murph Show, but I do my best for you. Second round of fall. Now we go. Now the lines are starting to jump. Dial quickly. I'll get you in, get shot. Easy E from Stager is next on The Score. Hey, what's your beef, E?
Hey, Murph. How you doing?
Hey, buddy.
I got a beef with, as usual, I got a beef with the sports writers. And, you know, the fact that I don't think there's a real clear-cut requisite what it takes to get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, what's the minimum? What's the maximum? As far as your stats and all that. Andre Dawson not making it to the Hall of Fame, it's just, it really gets my beef, you know.
Well, you know what? When you look at Jim Rice, the guy couldn't field.
Yes.
He couldn't throw. I don't remember him being able to run first to third on a base hit to center. Maybe I'm a little fuzzy on that, but I don't remember him being much more than a two-tool guy, a tremendous batting average type guy, and a tremendous power hitter. But you know what? They've watered this down where you don't have to be a fielder anymore. You don't have to have 3-4 tools. You know what? I always thought that the Gold Glove type guy, the rocket. He's got a rocket for an arm. Rocket for an arm. You know, Andre Dawson, Jim Rice, and Rice was tucked into that little left field monster behind him where he never even had to go for the ball anyway. But all I know is that the Hall of Fame's a mess in that they don't have. How come Vin Scully doesn't get to vote? How come a guy like Harry Kalas out there so many years with the Phillies, he never got a chance to vote? These guys, they seem. The newspaper writers have strangled this, and shame on Cooperstown for allowing this to occur. Hey, go visit my friends at Browns. Nicely done, buddy. Hang on. And I want to remind you, if you are Mr. Plant Facility Operations Vice President, TheTownGroup.com. For the sophisticated HVAC jobs, TheTownGroup.com. They do it right. West Town, North Town. Hello, Southwest Town, Northwest. White trucks, the red stripes. They are the pros.
Donovan, I've got your mom on the line, and she's got a major beef.
What's your beef, Scoreheads? Murph is waiting to hear from you. The beef lines are now open at 312-644-6767. Only on WSCR. The Score.
Yes, indeed. Let's get back to the beef lines. What's your beef? From my friends at Brown's, and as always, the best beefs from you, and you'll win a trip to, an Italian beef right about now, an Italian sausage. My favorite, Maxwell Street Polish. Like I always say, you can't even find Maxwell Street anymore except at Brown's. Grilled onions, a little yellow mustard. How about the weekend packages for your guys that come over the weekend? Did they? Hope you checked out BrownsChicken.com for all the different packages they have and the specials. Just go visit BrownsChicken.com. You will be amazed. And for the big game coming up in a couple of weeks, you know the one I'm talking about? The one that our beloved aren't in? Have everybody over to your house. Treat them to Browns. Let's go to Jeff as a car phone. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, Murph?
Hey, Jeff, what's your beef, man?
Well, I got a big beef with what happened in the late second quarter of that Pittsburgh and Baltimore game when that punter took a flop and the ref pulled the flag out of his pocket. I would have liked to see it be like a loss of down and, maybe a 5-yard penalty on top of that. I'm sick of watching these guys flop all over the field. This isn't, my little sister out there.
Well, you know what? I agree with you that there should be a bigger downside, if you will, for flopping. However, that play, and I looked at it a couple times with, back and forth, it appeared that the punter's, what they call the landing foot, was sort of rolled over on just enough by the blocking attempt to sort of throw him off balance. So in general, I do agree with you. I'm still 50-50 whether that was a flopperoo or if they actually nicked him up. But in general, I agree with you up and down the board there, Jeff.
Oh, well, and it just doesn't go for punters either. I mean, these receivers...
but the punters are any unique... You know this stuff. Come on. The punter, he's exposed, his legs up in the air. That should be, I believe, a particular rule just for the punter. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the rule, but I think that it needs to be a little bit, less strictly enforced. If it's, a clear...
No. How about this? Enforce it the same, but you can throw a flag if you think it was a flop, and then there's a major penalty for flopping. Then you would it would self-police itself, if you know what I mean.
Totally agree, Murph.
All right, man. Good job. Thank you, Jeff. New rules. I love that. Mully and Hanley had a great hour today of new rules. In fact, one of them I'd like to utilize right now as a text question, 67011. A caller to Mully and Hanley this morning, and filling in for Mike Mulligan was Brad Biggs from the Sun-Times. Did a great job. The caller suggested this. He says, hey, Super Bowl Sunday? Come on, I got to go to work Monday morning. After all these years, why don't they consider, here's the question, yes or no, move the Super Bowl to Saturday night so you can have everybody over, your big party from Browns, and then you know what, you can sleep in a little on Sunday. So yes or no, 67011, yes or no, move Super Bowl to Saturday night. Let's go to Jack from Sandwich, Illinois. Hello, Jack.
Hey, good afternoon, Murph. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Appropriate from Sandwich. I'm just thinking right now about a big old Brown's Italian beef. What's your beef, Jack?
Hey, Murph, my beef is with Sox management. You know why? Mr. Reinsdorf is more concerned with this brand new spring training facility, which who cares about that? And Kenny Williams, let's replace Vasquez with Bartolo Colon. That guy's all washed up. Come on now. He's got to do better than this, Murph. I'm extremely disappointed in Sox management this year.
Well, you know what? We're going to have the Daily Herald beat reporter Scott Gregor on in about an hour talking White Sox. I will just say this. Mr. Reinsdorf is not just worried about spring training. That's sort of unfair, but I know you're frustrated. The bigger thing, Jack, is that, remember, Kenny Williams receives the payroll constraints from Mr. Reinsdorf. So I think if you're going to point the finger or have a beef, it's the payroll after the great season last year that they're going to cut it down by 25% from $125 million to about $95 million. I would have a beef with that if I were a Sox fan. Nice.
Hey, Murph?
Yes, Jack.
Hey, is Chicago the third largest market in the United States?
Chicago is the third largest television market and therefore the third largest sports market in the country, yes.
Then why are we acting like a Minnesota or a Kansas City or a Tampa Bay?
Well, the argument could be made that there are two clubs here, and you divide it and have Philadelphia and Houston, believe it or not, are number 4, number 5, or 5 and 4 TV-wise. They have a single team. So an argument could be made that way, that you have to slice Chicago in half, but it's still, each half is major market, and
there you go.
And you're preaching at a choir here, Jack. I appreciate it, but it's not my money. It's Mr. Reinsdorf's money. That much I do know. Let's go next to, it's Lonesome George to beef a little bit from Skokie. Hello, George. Very nice.
Hail to the Murph.
Well,
Hail to the Chief.
Let's not confuse our priorities here. What's your beef today, George?
I've got a beef. An honest-to-goodness dilemma, an enigma, a mystery, a conundrum.
Okay.
After 233 years of our young republic, over 100 years of baseball, a new millennium,
if you will.
Our 44th president, 2009, why is it the first president who's a White Sox fan? Why, oh why, did it take so long? I got a beef.
Thank you very much, George. Let's go to McHenry. Bob, everybody's got a beef today. Everyone's going to Brown's for lunch. Hello, Bob.
Hey, Murph.
Hey, what's your beef?
Happy inauguration day.
Oh, man, that's hard for me to say.
Maybe, yeah, thanks, pal. Maybe in the spirit of that, this is one of those rare days I was telling Steve, my beef is I don't have a beef.
I like that. Today, there's nothing to beef about, right?
The baseball hasn't begun. The Bears are done, thank God. The Hawks are doing great.
Yeah.
I've got to the point where I care less about the Bulls.
Well, Bob, you know what? For creativity, you're a winner. Go visit my friends at Browns. You'll have nothing to beef about there. I guarantee you. Hang on, buddy. 312-644-6767. Got a few lines open for the first time on our busy beef lines. Got an email here. Kenny Owens from LaGrange Park. Murph, I have a beef with the Chicago Tribloid. He says, I mean the Tribune. He says it's now a tabloid. At this point, they just fold a paper in half. They turned it the other way. Murph used to be a reputable newspaper, but now it's like one of those penny savers in the suburbs. Thank you, Kenny Owens from LaGrange Park. I don't see the sports tie-in, but all beefs are welcome. Let's go next to Carphone Mark. Is that you?
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, what's your beef?
I just got a problem with all the sports writers and all the internet publicity that every time the Cubs make a trade, it's to get Peavy. I mean, come on now. If we're going to get Jake Peavy, let's get him. Let's not talk about it.
Well, you know, Mark,
I'm tired of hearing about it.
Well, then I guess I would say don't read it or don't look at it, but I don't want you to ignore that. The point is, until the Cubs, here's the thing, Mark, until the Cubs are sold, the ability to put the $63 million new dollars at Peavy on a 5-6 year deal, Mr. Hendry has to wait. But to encourage you, there are reports today from, I heard George Altman this morning on the Score that the Wall Street Journal is reporting this week. For you, Mark, the Cubs will be sold. That means Jake Peavy a few days after that. How's that sound? Is that better?
Hey, that sounds great to me. We could use it.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it very much. I'm tired of hearing all those rumors. My fault. Hey, tell you what. Want to thank everyone for beefing. Bob almost won twice. Bob thought he was going to go twice to brunch, which wouldn't be a bad idea. It tastes better. Lunchtime, dinner, BrownsChicken.com for the weekend. Hey, you know what? The big game's coming up a week from Sunday. Start planning now. Have your friends come over and say, hey, I'm treating. Everything's coming over from Browns. Hook it up on your credit card. Call their number. You'll receive their 800 number, the local number right there at BrownsChicken.com. Set it up. They'll deliver. Use your credit card. It's a beautiful thing for the big game a week from Sunday.
Thanks for for participating in What's Your Beef. Join Murph for another edition of What's Your Beef. What's Your Beef has been brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering and BrownsChicken.com. All winners of the Mike Murphy Show are only eligible to win prizes once in a 60-day period.